Hello everyone, welcome to another web design tutorial. So far in this tutorial we have almost nothing, and in fact it's broken slightly. How is it broken, you may ask? Well, this content div is overlapping our sidebar, and the wrapper is now floating below here. It's no longer working correctly. We're going to figure out why. Well, we have in our wrapper class 20 pixels of padding on the right and left. What we don't have is the amount of padding needed for the navigation bar. And the navigation bar is 40 pixels tall, so we will need 40 pixels of padding at the top, but just to play it safe, we're going to go with 45. Now we see it's working. Other than this being down some, however, that does not really matter, as usually this will not have a background. But we still have the problem of the content area overlapping the sidebar. Well, the sidebar is already only 300 pixels, and the content's 700. But the reason they're overlapping is because the wrapper, while it may be 1000 pixels wide, 40 pixels of those by the right, or by the left, right and left padding, we've reduced it to 960 pixels wide. So, we're going to reduce this to 680 and this to 280 so that we are evenly spreading the padding between the two. And now we get the correct padding. Now, last tutorial, I don't really remember all that I said. It was last Monday. But if I said we could make them as wide as we wanted, as long as it was still under the width, I was mistaken. I apologize. What we have now is correct. So, there we go. I know I promised you get all that. I would fix the problems I created. It is fixed. All except one thing. Now we have this thing way down from 45 pixels, which would be right about where this is. Why is it down so far? Well, we can take a look in our content, and we see it has a margin top 45 pixels. But why do we need that? The content is already inside the wrapper and inside the padding of the wrapper, so we do not need that. So now, instead of being 90 pixels down from the top, it will be 45 pixels from the top for the first one, which fits correctly. And our navigation bar, as you see, still works, except for one problem. We now have our navigation bar being covered up when we hover over. Usually, when you hover over this, there will be a extra navigation subnav, which I'm highlighting over one of the choices right now. But we can't see it because it's being covered up. Well, if we go down the box, you see there is no Z index. And I'll explain what Z index is in a second, everyone. In the navigation bar, we will put Z hyphen index and go with a very high number that will most likely not be covered up by anything else. Z index 100. What is Z index? I know I haven't gone over too many of our CSS element or CSS things, elements. I think they're called elements. I don't know. Well, this one I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain this one because it's sort of strange. Why would they call it z-index? They call it z-index because they couldn't think of anything else. No, just kidding. Well, when you're creating a 3D game or 3D anything on a computer, you have 3 coordinates rather than just the normal x and y coordinates. The x and y still determine horizontal and vertical, but now you need something to measure depth, how far away it is from you, rather than just where is it in relation to you in a map going left and right, up and down. This is what gives it the 3D feel. The z value. And the z index in CSS does not make anything 3D. It is, however, a depth value. The higher the number of depth, the closer it is to you, which is not always true for video game programming. In fact, it almost never is, but that is completely up to the programmer on most occasions. So 100 is pretty high, and it will most likely always be the first thing on it you see, or the closest thing to you in relation to everything else. It's not really going to appear closer, it's not going to appear bigger, but it's going to overlap everything else. So by putting this code in there, when we refresh the page, we see it is now correct. It is still broken, and I have no real idea as to why it is broken. However, I don't really care because we will fix it when we make our real navigation menu for our real project later on. But we see it is now not being overlapped by anything. And just for the fun of it, we are going to get rid of this white because we really don't need it to be white anymore. So go down to sidebar, maybe up to sidebar, and just hit Control D to delete the background line once you have selected it, and put your text cursor, which I found out the name one day, but I honestly don't remember it. So your text cursor. And now, this is what we have on our webpage for today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like or dislike button corresponding to how you felt about this video. And I will catch you guys later.